present before you how in Himachal Pradesh we have gone about making the common CSCs success and reaching government to citizen services and business to citizen services at almost the doorsteps of the rural population of Himachal. Himachal Pradesh is a very small state. We've got 3,243 panchayats spread over 77 blocks across 12 districts. So our challenge was to have these CSCs at the panchayat level. As per Government of India, the scheme was to establish 1 lakh CSCs in rural areas in the 6 lakhs villages. That translates to roughly 1 CSC for every 6 village to provide government citizen service and business citizen service at their doorsteps using information and communication tools. Now in our state, our target was to set up 3,366 such centers spread over those 3,243 panchayats under the brand name of Lok Mitra Kendras. This was spread across the 3 zones of Shimla, Mandi and Kangra. Now what is a CSC? These were envisaged as the front-end delivery points for government, private and social sector services for the rural citizens of India, and these are operator-assisted centers and using a combination of IT as well as non-IT services. Here I would like to deliberate a little on those non-IT services, because in order to make these CSCs viable, which Rajesh sir touched upon, that the viability may be a question. So we allowed not only IT services to be delivered by these Lok Mitra Kendras, but also FMCG products, mobile SIMs and certain other essential items which the NMKs might keep with them so that it makes business sense. And it was for us a last mile service delivery point, because in Himachal we had completed the statewide area network, the HIMSWAN, which was running now into our 6th year. And we've also done our state data center, which has the central depository services. It's a depository of all services. So the database is ready. So the challenge was to reach these citizen services almost to the doorstep of the rural population in the remotest corners of the state. Now, the implementation model which we undertook was a public-private partnership because we wanted to encourage the village-level entrepreneurs and associate the private companies who would take over the day-to-day issues and handle them, and also help in the setting up of these processes. And therefore, there was pooling of funds at the private level as well as obviously the government level. We integrated scale with efficiency because previously what was happening, each department was delivering its service to the citizens in its own different way, using portals or manually also. But now we have integrated all these services under a single portal, and so the citizen, the villager, knows at the village level that he only merely has to go to these Lok Mitra Kendras to avail of these bouquet of services. Now, we had also evolved the CSC model after a thorough study of the best practices across various states of India. And then we tailor-made it to our needs. The stakeholders were also incentivized to come together. Here the stakeholders are fourfold: government of course, the private companies who were given revenue support, and the village level entrepreneurs or the NMKs who are working on a commission basis, as well as the citizens who are paying a nominal cost for these services to be delivered at their homes doorstep. So this is what I was talking to you about the 3-tier structure, the VLE, which is analogous to a franchisee, and the SCA who we engaged to manage and build and train the VLE businesses, and of course the state for implementation and to provide the policy, content and financial support. Now the CSCs The MSAs were signed by the government with two companies, Zoom and GNG Group in 2008. And this was, we provided revenue support to these companies as was mandated by the Government of India. And this was done on a 50-50 basis, grant and aid from Government of India and the 50% state share as ACL. Now, in one of them, the GNG Group, they bid negative, there was a negative bid, and they gave us 10 rupees per CSC for Shimla and 14 for Manali. However, in terms of operations and rollout, there was no difference between both the companies. So firstly, I would like to elaborate on what the CSC's responsibilities were. They had to basically identify the village level entrepreneur and make him understand what the model was, what the business model is, and then obviously the provisioning of the services and coordination with other stakeholders and bringing to our notice what were the difficulties or what would make this a success. And then, of course, he would provide the VLEs once all the things were in place. He would provide the VLEs access to the services for making the transactions and also for monitoring purposes for generating daily as well as weekly and monthly MIS reports. Now, this is what is typically the local Kendra setup process. The first SCA would identify the village level entrepreneur. Then the infrastructure would be set up, and then the certification request would be sent to the district administration, who would then get about the business of certifying and authenticating the VLE. And then only after this process is done, the VLE would be allowed for delivery of services. So what exactly is there in the CSC? Here, this is our CSC supported by the SCA. And he is just providing us with the 150 square feet of space, computer, printer, camera and internet. And of course the operator is there, and to provide the services, government to citizen service and business to citizen services. And supported by the SCA, which is Zoom and GNG in our case. Now this is the business model that we have for our CSC, the CSCs, the Lokmitar Kendras that we have in Himachal. The CSC, as you can see, the NMK operator or the CSC, he first deposits the amount in the SCA bank accounts. Only after that is reflected in the SCA portal that his working capital is updated, and then only he has the access, login access to this portal, and then he is allowed the service delivery. And then he makes the transactions. And he, after this is then deducted from his working capital, and then his commission is reflected again in the SCA portal, and the government department, the amount is then transferred to the government departments. And access to the government departments in the G2C portal and their the number of transactions and the value of transactions is being maintained also by the G2C portal by the Department of DIT, while the SCA portal has access to government departments as well as the business to citizen services. Now, a quick look at how we rolled out these CSCs and what was our achievements. The scheme was started in August 2009 and with only 294, and till date in January 2014 we have 3007 CSCs which are rolled out, but our target still remains 3366, that is one CSC per panchayat. There were a lot of challenges because there were delays in the rollout, there were lack of G2C services, the lack of trainings, the day-to-day issues with the VLEs and lack of awareness. Here I would especially like to just point out, as previous speakers have spoken, we face the issues of connectivity. We also faced, unlike other states, the financial viability, because Himachal has very less population, and not only that, it was dispersed population, especially in districts like Kinnaur and Lahul Spiti, where population is less than 200, and in Lahul Spiti, density of population is less than even 1 per square kilometer. However, we have addressed these during the course of the rollout of the CSCs. I will come to each of them, how we tackled and how we got around these problems. One more thing I would like to stress about the lack of awareness. It wasn't only the lack of awareness for the citizens for whom the services were meant, or the village level entrepreneurs to understand what he is getting into, but also field level officers of government departments. So we have to make every tier and every stakeholder aware of what their specific roles are. Now, the delay in the rollout would obviously attract penalties, and these amounted to about some 20 crores for the SCAs. So we went to the Apex committee twice, and we got the recommendations for their waiver, and thereafter cabinet approval, and also the cabinet approved for extension of the timelines. And this was greatly appreciated by the Government of India, and it was recommended to be replicated in the other states. Now, as far as the government to citizen services are concerned, the Department of IT was very instrumental in the identification of the services, and then SOPs were prepared by my department. The service charges were finalized, and agreements, tripartite agreements were prepared. Law department was also, the approval was taken from the law department. Cabinet approval was taken for these charges, notification was issued, then only the software was prepared, and then only the services were rolled out. For this, obviously it wasn't a very easy affair. We had to make this a priority for the government, which it was, and it was given priority from the highest quarters. We made it an agenda item in the monthly COS meetings chaired by the Chief Secretary. And each department was asked, was monitored, that what are their government to citizen services that they could make available. Service charges also were negotiated and deliberated upon. For instance, previously for the electricity billing, we had service charges were 1% or rupees 2.50, whichever was less. But then that wasn't really working out, and it wasn't making things viable. And therefore now it was increased. It is 2% or 5 rupees per bill, which goes to which the customer has to pay, which goes as commission to our VLEs or the LMKs. And this we took cabinet approval for these rates. Also, revenue support given to the SCAs were also linked to the volume of transactions. Himachal being a smaller state, a minimum of merely 50 transactions per quarter transactions had to be done by the SCAs in order to get their revenue support. That was making it viable. The trainings, as I said before, the Department of IT as well as the SCAs organized district level trainings and workshops for the VLEs. All our 77 blocks were covered, and senior officers of the DIT as well as the SCAs and district administration imparted these trainings to the VLEs. And we even had VCs with all the blocks for the VLE awareness, and this was done twice during the course of the rollout. And in order to give an incentive to the VLE or prospective VLE to come to the district headquarters or block headquarters or panchayat headquarters for these trainings, even TADA were given after due approval. To mesh out our day-to-day issues, the personal mobile numbers of senior officers in our department was given, so that if at any level the issues were not being sorted out, my officers were there to sort it out anytime. So we had also a toll-free number which was provided to the VLEs, and the help desk was being manned by our SCS, GNG and Zoom. Not only that, to have a check and balance, the Department of IT has its own people there even today. IT facilitators were also deployed through an external agency, that is DOIC, in all the districts to help the district administration and the VLE, as well as to do the coordination at the district and panchayat levels. Now, the awareness, as far as awareness is concerned, we made it an agenda point, as I said before, in all the Committee of Secretary meetings, and it was an agenda item in all VCs with the Deputy Commissioners, and this was done on a monthly basis with the Chief Secretary herself was conducting these VCs with the Deputy Commissioners. It became also an agenda item in all the Gram Sabhas, therefore the awareness issue about the rural population being not aware was taken care of in this manner. And of course, there were publicity was done through press notes, newspaper advertisements, and local cable TV and media. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So this is just our rollout status. In fact, I'm almost sure this is just statistics. So, as I said, our target is 3,366, out of which now 3,007 VLEs have been identified, and we have 2,393 delivering G2C services as of today. And these are some of our the citizen services which the LMKs are delivering: electricity bills payment, irrigation, water bills, BSNL, Jamabandi, Shatra, and all whatever you can think of is there as of today. These are even, we have looked in Himachal Public Service Commission and Excise and Taxation. These 15 services are also being done through the state portal as well as the SSDG gateway, which is over and above the SCA portal and the DIT portal. These are those 15 services, and these are the services which are in the pipeline. We are in the process, and 51 services have been identified, which we would be shortly delivering through the e-district project, and 11 services through the SSDG gateways. And this was our this thing. As you can see how it has started from 0 till this is the growth in our LMKs all over the state. So in January 14 we have 2,393 LMKs in almost all the districts, and these are active VLEs. This is this is again the growth of our VLEs. Just to give you an idea how much of transactions, the value of transactions for electricity bill payments as of January 14, 12 crores, more than 12 crores was collected in this month itself. Jamabandis, 10 lakh Jamabandis for irrigation and public health water bills. This is about 6 crores. Bus tickets 75 lakhs, BSNL payments 6 crores, more than 6 crores, and these are our B2C services also which are being delivered by our VLEs or LMKs. And what the future roadmap, as I said, the 51 services through the SSDG as well as the e-district projects all would be dovetailed through the LMKs, and that would be our service delivery point, and we would also be linking it up with the Panchayati Raj institutions, and focus would be on capacity building, and we are exploring other areas so that the viability and the sustainability of the VLE is taken care of. And these, we have thought of banking, insurance, education, health and agriculture. In this case, I would also like to say in banking, PNB has tied up with about 77 of our VLEs, and they are doing banking transactions as of today. We've also roped in SBI, but we are in the process of making them reach out to our remotest areas. Thank you very much.